and welcome to ETTO's Catch-Up. I've still not lowered that theme for my eardrums. I'm Will.
I'm Josh.
And on today's show, this isn't my real voice.
Ooh, and I'm just going to quickly open up Spotify real quick and illegally watch a full film. Yeah. Ooh. That's the whole piece.
That's the whole piece. Yeah, all right, you got one down.
Before then, let's catch up. What are we doing?
Let's catch up.
How you been?
Yeah, pretty good. Same as usual. Work is heating up for multiple facets leading up to the big old PAX. I'm sure that's the last time we'll say the word PAX in this very episode.
Probably not.
But the biggest thing that happened to me is I had a little funny moment in my life.
I love funny moments.
I don't have many funny moments. Usually they're unfortunate, but this one was funny. I guess funny for unfortunateness.
Okay.
Tuesdays are usually my especially when there's a wait for work, so I kind of faff about and then use the evening and in the late afternoon to kind of make use of my time. So I'm lazing about on Tuesdays a lot of the time.
Nice.
It's about midday. I'm going to watch a movie. I'll talk about this movie later, but it is a film that's fairly youthy, fairly young. There's lots of parties, a little bit of banging.
Oh, yeah.
And so the banging's going on, and then the banging continues, but it's on the side of my one of the windows where I'm watching a show. I'm like, that's weird. Maybe someone's dropping
just
something.
A bunch of teenagers from the school next door to you.
Just banging. It's the Crow.
Just banging.
It's the Crow. He's come over here.
You had a crow?
It's not a crow. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh,
wouldn't that be great?
That would have been wild. I watched that crow just try to pull apart a car the other day.
Oh, shit.
It was on a car for half an hour.
It was
just pecking at all the windows. It was pulling at the windscreen wipers.
Yeah.
It was pulling at the mirrors and knocking at the mirrors in every window. It was it's got it in for someone out there.
Who did you offend in your past life?
I have it wasn't my car, thankfully, but freaking hell. It was going at it for a long time.
Well, yeah, back to the going at it. The banging was actually
banging.
It was not people, it was someone knocking on my window, and it wasn't for a parcel as I was hoping. It was as a very alone male, very attractive lady that was walking around doing the real estate thing. And I had peered through the window. I'm like, I mean, you're very attractive, so I want to at least say hello to you. And as I walked to the door and opened the door, in that split second, I realized that I hadn't had a shower today. I was still in my pajamas, in a dressing gown, in a shirt that said, I wrote it down, it's my Where's Wally shirt that says, a good man is hard to find. And so as I swing open the door, I'm just like, sorry, I'm a hermit. And she's like, no, that's fine. It's fine. Is this your house? I'm like, and so I went, yeah, sure, that's my house. And so then it was just one of those usual things of someone down the road is selling, do you want to sell? Here's all the details. But it was just one of those moments where I was like, maybe I should have a shower every morning and get into something that isn't just comfy clothes. And then I didn't do that any day after that. I just continued to do the same thing. But
just had the thought.
Yeah, it was just a wonderful moment. The perfect thing of where they knocked is a place I could peer. So not only did I arrive disheveled, but it was a moment where she would have just seen my face through the side of a window, just going, "Who's that?" So wonderful all around.
Yes.
All around a great time.
Did she knock on the window or on the window?
It was definitely not the door, because a door knock is a solid wooden,
odd.
but it was a rattle.
Yeah.
It was it was definitely on glass. Really weird.
Why? That's so odd.
Because a door knock doesn't generally, unless it's an aggressive one, it doesn't startle you because you're I know where that's coming from. This was I'm watching the film and I'm like, the fuck is that noise? And then I pause the film and then I'm like, that's on the window. And so
and you have a physical ding-a-linger.
I have it was I will say that was another element. I know there's a pair of shorts that I own that have a broken button. So as I'm standing there, I'm like, these are the broken button shorts.
That would have made it. That would have been just so good.
Thankfully, these were the broken rear shorts where there's just a hole for my butt.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, just a flap.
Just a flap.
It's not buttoned up.
I'm a little Victorian little boy with a little butt
That's
flap.
right. That's right. And why would you ever do it up? Because you spend half your day on the toilet.
Totally.
So
just let it roll.
There's no point.
Just let it roll.
Let it roll. Let that butt roll.
Of all people, my poos do not roll. Josh, have you been doing any rolling in the last week?
Not a whole lot to report this week, actually. I've been busy, but nothing exciting. I've just been kind of going out,
Living.
like hanging out with people. Yeah. So I had a long weekend, an extra long weekend this weekend. So everyone had the Queen's Day of mourning.
Yeah.
One of my friends made a very good joke on Facebook about how are we ever going to get past this day if it's a day of mourning? When does afternoon and evening?
When does it begin?
It's great. It's very good.
Very good.
And then the day before the AFL Grand Final, public holiday on Friday.
Yep.
Whatever. I went and visited a mate of mine in Ballarat, which was very lovely. Haven't seen him in quite a while. We went to a cocktail bar, much like some of the cocktail bars we've been to here, like Eau de Vie and stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Very nice, very fancy, cool stuff.
Yep.
Some fire, some smoke inside a bubble that you pop with your nose when you go and
cool.
and drink. It's very cute.
That's
fun. They put it inside and they're like, so what you do, you pop it with your nose and then you inhale the vapor and take your first sip.
Oh, wow.
All at once. And it was beautiful.
Holy shit, that's cool.
Yeah. A bit of, they did the old dry ice sort of thing where they pour it on top of something and it basically turns it to ice cream and you eat ice cream before you get to the cocktail.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. Yes. And then on the public holiday while the grand final was happening, I went to the skate park.
You rolled.
Because there was no one there.
Yeah.
I did roll. Let it roll.
You let it roll.
Because it was basically empty.
Yeah, nice.
Which is great fun. I'm like, I'm not watching the grand final. It's definitely not something I'm going to be doing today.
Yeah. That is funny that there wasn't more people there. Like,
there was some people.
Doesn't seem like it's...
Yeah,
Maybe
I guess
still
it's
sad
just...
from the Queen Day.
Potentially, yeah. I guess it's still just Melbourne. Like, I feel like...
Everyone... That's true.
Everyone's into it.
Yeah.
It's weirdly everyone, even people you wouldn't expect.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but like there was still a few people there, like probably, 10, 15 people. But it's a large skate park, so that's
it wasn't
pretty empty for the size of it, which is nice. So that was good. I'm getting more consistent at some tricks, which is very nice. Yes, so I'm feeling good about that. I have another long weekend coming up this weekend, even though I'm using annual leave and my overtime, instead of getting paid, I'm using that as time in lieu to take some time off because it's my mum's, I'm going to say 21st birthday, because you don't reveal a woman's real age, although I did because my mum is definitely 21.
Evil.
So we've hired a farm stay, which would be very lovely. And we're going to go chilling on a farm. It's going to be like a youth camp because
That's a good point,
they've got archery.
Oh god.
They've got canoeing. They there's all these things that are like classic campsites.
Probably Lamingtons.
Probably.
Yeah.
So probably like super watered down cordial.
Yeah.
The last day will be wraps.
Yep, hot chocolate machine that we use too much, and then they're like, "You're not allowed any more hot chocolate." It's like, what?
Yeah,
it's there. What the fuck, man? Like,
100%. Yeah, that's it. So looking forward to that, and then another long weekend after that. So the long weekend coming up is Friday to Tuesday.
Yes.
So I've got all that time of work.
Yep.
Monday is the New South Wales public holiday. As a Victorian, I don't have that day, so that's also annual leave, and technically for me.
Yep.
Although maybe my work will just not realize and also give me that. We'll see what happens. And then I have the Friday off for PAX.
Insane.
So good.
Busy
so it's
days.
a 2-day week for me next week.
Good.
2-day work week.
Jesus. Good.
So good. So get back on the Tuesday and then off again on Friday.
Nuts.
Yeah. And we're currently working through 3 projects that are due very soon. So it's a terrible time.
Good.
But my work gave me the time off.
Yeah, if they're willing to give it to you.
So
yeah.
That's right. Good. So we'll see.
Good.
So that's me. I'll have a lot to talk about post PAX, I guess.
Yeah.
But yes, also because I'm leaving on Friday, there will also be no Ben and Josh stream.
The mate stream.
But it'll return in a few weeks because we can't do PAX either.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time.
But we'll hang out with a bunch of you.
And for video listeners, hopefully my focus will return at some point. I can't be fucked to fix
Fingers
that.
crossed.
You can still see my face. But speaking of returning, a segment that's been in this podcast for 35 episodes, it's returned once again. It's time, Joshua, for the news. Good.
So long to get into the actual title sequence.
You get to say a whole video game's name.
And wait
for it to still come. But a man that's waited far too long, and a man that has returned to this podcast multiple times. We talked about this man. I think this is the third time we've talked about this man. John Williams is back in the podcast. Hey. We also talked about posthumous awards. John Williams is fine. He's not dead.
Good.
But the person giving him the award is very dead.
Oh, no.
The Queen's final batch of knightings included John Williams, the Star Wars composer. Insane.
Dang.
Yeah.
Imagine, that's nuts.
So
that sucks.
Assumedly in the final days of, according to an article from the Daily Mail, final days, one of the things was the next batch of knighthoods. And Mr. John Williams was a part of that. Of course, John Williams is an American, so these are honorary ones. It basically is the same thing as a lot of them, but recipients can't call themselves sirs or dames. It's
really?
Yeah. So you have to be British to have the sir or the dame as a part of your title. So, don't know.
Honorary Dame John Williams.
There you go. Honorary Dame. Alongside him as well was the old Disney CEO, Bob Iger, who also got awarded. So it was a double whammy of Disney-related people.
Cool.
But they were the only entertainment-based people as well. The final entertainment-based people that the Queen awarded knighthoods to, which is pretty cool.
Does that mean King Chuck's going to knight them instead?
I guess so. I guess he drops the sword. He drops his sword on their shoulder. Yeah. I guess so.
Don't like that.
Yeah. It's unclear. I guess he would have to do it in his mother's name. But just crazy that A, John Williams hadn't already been knighted, but B, that it was the last thing the Queen basically did.
He was so close. Although it's cool. Does she choose?
Yeah. It's it's a selection pro. They probably give her a bunch of names, probably thousands of names, and they're just give us a couple.
Fascinating that she knows who Bob Iger is.
It's true. I'm sure she's had many a tea. Many a tea.
I guess
the thing that was kind of tied to names is John Williams was tied to, it was service for film score, and then Bob Iger's one was something like service for UK and US relations. So his one was above and beyond being service of Disney. It's you have done a lot for both countries, so this is your honorary thing.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. I guess there's a huge crossover in Disney stuff with British stuff. Star Wars is all British people.
Yeah,
basically.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I'm okay with these posthumous awards. I like these ones.
They're all right. They're all right.
But there you go. Congrats, guys.
There you go. So from Disney to the sinking ship of Warner Brothers, we're all pretty aware that the new Warner Brothers leadership has just been, sailing that leadership. That company at least. Thank you.
Yeah.
Straight into a volcano.
Yes.
I don't think. Can you do that?
Sailing a ship.
I didn't do well. I didn't do that well at all.
All right. That's okay.
And the animation division seems to be taking one of the biggest hits within the company, and the biggest victim of cost slashing.
Yes. Yep.
And one of the victims, as previously reported on, is a show from one of my all-time favorite humans, Olin Rogers. The show Final Space, and the company also owns the rights to the show, which means he can't take it elsewhere. And continue it on. So he put out a post in the last sort of 24 hours at time of recording, saying 5 years of my life, 3 seasons of TV, blood, sweat, and tears became a tax write-off for the network who owns Final Space.
Yeah.
So it's now just technically a tax write-off. This has explained why the series has now gone completely MIA from streaming services in the US, so it no longer exists at all. You cannot find it anywhere. He also confirmed that Final Space would leave Netflix once the international license period has expired, so it is still currently there.
Yep.
He also said, your memory of Final Space will be the only proof that it ever existed unless you own a copy of season 1 or 2 on DVD, which now also is no longer
currently available on Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's no longer being created, so those are the final copies.
Unavailable, sorry. I don't know. It might,
unavailable
might not have come
Amazon.
through.
Okay.
Yeah. Currently unavailable. Yeah.
There you go. Season 3 never got a physical release, so that's it for that one.
Jeez.
But with all that said, Rogers still ends the post promising fans that hashtag renew Final Space will still be a rallying cry as it continues down, quote, this long dark night chasing an ending for this story. So he's a very, very determined man.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do everything that he can to try and get this released into his care.
Yep.
Or at least, get the rights back to finish the story or something like that.
Yep.
We'll see how that goes. He's been a very, very lucky man in his life.
Yep.
With a lot of, like a roller coaster kind of 10 years of things. Like he started a very successful like pizza and milkshake bar, which then got hit by a tornado. And then Final Space got picked up after that. And then, 3 seasons is very successful for a TV show. Yeah. And then this has happened and it's just
it got
disappearing
hit by a tornado.
off the face, pretty much disappearing off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
Along with all of this, with that post, he's released some merch with hashtag renew Final Space put on it, as well as a shirt, which I think is pretty funny and kind of cool. Mm-hmm. It kind of looks like the words Final Space are falling from the top of the T to the bottom of the T, and then the very bottom of it says tax write-off.
Good.
And then in little letters underneath that, it says hashtag renew Final Space. So that's kind of the coolest one. The rest just say hashtag renew Final Space.
Yep.
But that one has kind of the most interesting design. But with that, William, I would like to request, would you possibly be able to see if you can acquire Final Space Otherwise,
yeah. Because I looked for it on Amazon as soon as I saw it. I'm like, I wonder if I get that for Josh's Christmas or birthday or both there at the same time.
Yeah.
And then currently unavailable. But we'll get back on that ship and I'll surf the high seas, Joshua. I'll get it out of the volcano. However it got in there, we don't know. Yeah. And I'll surf it on into the seas and find it.
Legend. Thank you so much. My other option, if we cannot, is to basically just screen record the entire series.
Yeah.
In like a day.
Yeah.
And then I'll cut it up later.
Because at that point,
I'm gonna get it.
Is it illegal if it doesn't exist?
That's right.
That's
right.
What's the legality there if they deleted it from existence and you illegally acquire it? But where's the source? There's no source.
Yeah.
If you've run out of source, what's the point?
Yeah. If you can't find it anymore.
No. It's not illegal. That's a whole... You know what?
Right?
Good on Warner Brothers. They're creating new laws.
Thank you, Warner Brothers. Thank you, leadership from Warner Brothers. We love you.
Thank goodness for Discovery.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Terrible. Well, speaking of Warner Brothers, let's go to Warner Brothers Games, one of the few places that are still making content and still making money. From an interview with Warner Brothers Games Montreal's game director Jeff Eleanor and cinematics director Wilson Mew, they took a little bit for Play Magazine. They took a little bit about Gotham Knights, and as I've written at the top of here, Gotham Knights overpromising. I think fucking so. Got a couple of quotes. It's given me like major No Man's Skies vibe of like, calm the fuck down, guys. Let's simmer this.
Cool.
So just sit back and enjoy these quotes. We actually made 4 stories, not just one. Already. No, you haven't. You've not done that. That's a big claim. You will not see all of it in a single playthrough just because there's so much content that is unique to the hero's perception. Hero's perception of what's going on and what's happened. Structurally, we're going to have a very similar scene that overall falls in the flow of each character, but each character has their own version of that. A character's version will differ because they move, speak, and act differently. No shit. And then some of them are very similar in how they do it, but they're going to have little subtle differences. So they start at the top saying, we've made 4 stories. And by the end of it, they're like, well, the character models are different. So technically it's a different cutscene.
Yeah. Oh, that's so disgusting.
So it's like, I don't know.
It's like subtle. They're like, there's subtle differences. It's a subtly different story.
Like the entire character being different. Like, I can't tell if they're backtracking or if there actually is 4 unique paths to go through the story. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, there could be. Like, they're all very different characters, like, physically, as well.
If you were like literally perceiving an event differently, that would be kind of cool. That would be a cool
totally
thing.
The hero's perception of what's going on is the very interesting line. Like, it's also like so specific that it almost sounds like a marketing thing that they're supposed to say to like entice you, and that then therefore should mean it's in the game. But yeah, totally. If it's like Batgirl wasn't in that scene, so when she hears something being said by Nightwing, she's like, I don't know if I believe you. And it's like, there's a little bit of that kind of going on. Like, that would be awesome. But yeah.
Or like, you know, like, I feel like maybe the extent that it's going to go is like an Injustice where there's like a pair up of 2 characters and they have lines, many lines specific to each character. It's not just a generic, like, I'm going to kill you. It's like, Harley Quinn, I'm going to kill you, whatever. So I'm so creative. That's right. But yeah, if it's, you know, if you get little lines like very specific, it's still a bit of a like
subtle differences.
It's a subtle difference. It's not going to add all that much. But I feel like that's the extent of the subtlety, is they would just say something slightly differently, but something enough that if someone is talking to them, they can continue on with exactly the same dialogue they have for every other character. But Batgirl will have a different reaction.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because that's the truth of it. If we weren't so in the gaming sphere, this would entice. But it's just like, nah, come on.
I've seen this before.
We've heard this so many times, man. But like, in saying that, this is like lifted from 0 to maybe 4 of my hype for this game. That's out of 100. But, 4 for Gotham Knights, the video.
Out of 100, right.
I just have I've just got no interest in this thing.
Excellent.
But Gotham Knights is releasing like next month, I think. I think it's
soon.
Late October.
It's very
or something.
soon. Yeah.
So get keen, everybody.
Get keen. And from, you know, things that might sound visually different and look visually different, maybe slightly, to just straight up visuals on Spotify, which I didn't know existed at all. Did you know that there are videos on Spotify?
You can do video podcasts. It was like last month or something.
Well, apparently it's been a thing since 2020.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Emails?
According to the article that I read. Maybe it was like, maybe it was very specific. Maybe it was alongside like all the Joe Rogan controversy that came out when they started putting that up and he was spurting his incorrect COVID information. Might have been alongside that. Because I think that was a pretty big acquisition by Spotify to get Joe Rogan's podcast on there and stuff. Anyway, I had no idea that was a thing. But it is. And of course, people are using that to upload full movies.
Very good.
Such as Tom Hanks's, the film starring Tom Hanks, Pinocchio, the full Pinocchio film, at least was on Spotify to be able to watch. I've gone on and searched for the Spotify accounts that I saw through the TikTokers, because TikTokers discovered it and just spread it. I got this from Dolphin Pants as well. He tagged me in this. So shout out. I looked it up. It's already gone from what I could see. So Spotify are already cutting down on it. Have you found one?
I found Minions: Rise of Minions. There it is.
The full film?
Yeah. Hour 22.
Amazing. Bonus.
There it is. Bonus.
What's the bonus? Is that bonus?
Like just hide it. Yeah.
Interesting. Very good. What's the channel for that?
Little Minions a minute. Thanks, Minions, Little Minion, and fuck it hell. They've got to do their best to hide these names.
That's amazing. They certainly didn't in the one that I looked at, because it was called like Full Movies Here or something.
Good.
Great. Amazing. That's honestly pretty much the whole news. That was the thing. Obviously, like, clearly they're not, like, they haven't clamped down and cleared out all of them.
But it's coming.
But they probably will. They might actually, maybe they'll have like a screening process in the future for their video podcasts and stuff, which they certainly don't yet.
No. I put up so much porn. And they just haven't stopped me. Maybe it's because it's me. They're just like, well, no one's clicked to look at it, so no one's searching Minions, Little Will's Minion. Yeah, that's what I call it.
Yeah. Excellent. Good. So that's basically it. That's all I got for you for that one.
Well, it's good that you brought it up because it's reminded me that I have been meaning to look into how easy it is to put these on Spotify.
That's true.
Video component of our podcast. If you want to see it, youtube.com/each of their own. Maybe Minions Little Minions soon.
Maybe. And maybe now we know that we can watch the entirety of Minions.
The Minions film.
We could do that on our stream tonight.
Yeah, let's just do that. It's free.
No one needs to sign up to a streaming service.
Nah, just open Spotify. Have a look.
Done.
Have a look.
Done. Let's do it.
Good. Well, speaking of things no one has to do, James Earl Jones has decided, you know what?
No one's doing him.
I'm just going to skip that part of the story. We'll come back around. We'll find out what James Earl Jones does. What's James Earl Jones doing?
What's James Earl doing?
What's the deal? We're actually starting with a different part of this story, and that's about AI voice acting, which was my little joke at the start. This isn't my real voice. That's what that was.
Ah, good.
See?
There it is.
A news report by GLHF Gulf, which I believe is a category. Managing editor Kirk McNeed, which I believe is a category, suggests that
it's close to the company that She-Hulk works for.
It is because it's Glick. It's like there's a K at the end.
Yeah. It's like GHLK. Something. Yeah.
Close.
Interesting.
Well, Kirk McNeed may be working there. He suggests that new AI innovations may soon replace human voice actors in video games. Now, he lists two companies, the major ones being Neon Giant, who I didn't look into, but fairly well known. The other one being Ninja Theory, of course, the Hellblade devs, as two prominent studios that have already put this into practice. So he put this report out there basically saying these studios and a couple of other ones are using AI voice actors now. They're just doing it. Ninja Theory said, give it a sec. Wait a second. They went to Twitter and they replied to a user that was like, hey, what the fuck's this about? And they said, for clarity, we use this AI tech for placeholder content only to help us understand things like timing and placement in early phases of development. We then collaborate with real actors whose performances are at the heart of bringing our stories to life. Which I'm like, that is the best use of AI voices I've ever heard of. That is
100%.
Like the most ethical, the most like the best use of your time, the best use of AI. It's not taking jobs away. It's just helping the process of this, in this case, video game development. Could be used in video creation as well. There's nothing more to that apart from the fact that Ninja Theory has worked out a very clever use of voice AI technology, which is sick.
Yeah, that's really, really cool because it means like, you know, I've spent hours, days worth of work, like implementing voiceover into my game. The current one I'm working on, and it took a long time, and it also took a long time waiting for our publisher to get the actual recorded VO to us to be able to implement that. And it's so late into development that it's like, really need to get this in, and there's so many bugs with it and stuff, and there's missing VO everywhere and stuff like that. So this just would have been super handy to have, just to chuck it in. I can implement it. We can work out bug fixes and stuff while they're off, you know, recording. Things, but we have everything that we need already in the game.
And in the case of like editing, it's a simple alt click over the top of a different thing to replace a voice line. Is there a similar thing in that? It's like once you've created the string, it's just like replace audio file. So as long as it's timed right, it's like it'll just go in.
Yeah, pretty much. So one of the little secrets into game dev is for localization. There is what you call a key, and then the actual string, so the actual stuff that you want to say. So the first one might be, you know, cutscene 1, line 1, and that's the key. And then next to that, you have the words. And so every single language just has its own cutscene 1, line 1, and then the translation of that. In the game, you only put the key. You never put the actual words in.
Yep.
In terms of like in the code or in your cutscene creation thing.
Mm-hmm.
You just put that in, and then it goes and searches for that string
That equivalent.
in the user's language, and it grabs that and puts it in. That's how localization works.
Yeah, wow.
And so in English, you just grab, it's just a huge file of every single sentence in the game, and you send that off to a localization company.
Mm-hmm.
They translate it for you, send it back. You have all the files ready. You just put it in, and that's localization done.
Yeah, cool.
That's it. There's companies just made for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so to add the voice acting in, I basically just got the audio file, named it exactly the same as the key for that particular word or sentence. And then whenever the game goes to try and find the key, it also searches for that audio file and goes, yep, I found that audio file, play it. And it just automatically comes up. So whenever there's dialogue, if it can find a relevant audio file, then it'll play it.
That's sick.
That's how I implemented to it. So
cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's totally an easy fix, and it
would have been really handy. Yeah,
you don't have to wait for a full thing of different actors and stuff. So yeah, cool. But coming back around to James Earl Jones, just because it kind of ties into this. As I've written here, everyone can get off my dick. Darth Vader was AI in Kenobi. I tried to convince so many people. I'm pretty sure we may have had the conversation, and I'm like, no, it's because it says James Earl Jones at the end, but I'm like, there is no way that is a human being. And we now know for certain that the same tech that was used up there, which is Respeecher, was used for Kenobi, and will be used into the future because James Earl Jones has retired from the role of Darth Vader. He has finally put the stamp on it in a recent report from Vanity Fair, which I also need to bring up, is called Darth Vader's Voice Emanated from War-Torn Ukraine, which is such an intense choice of words.
What?
The reason being Respeecher is an app created in Ukraine. But it makes it sound like
jeez, guys,
screaming in Ukraine.
Oh my goodness, calm down.
Bizarre.
What?
Weird Vanity Fair. But basically, yes, James Earl Jones has signed over his voice to Respeecher, which is a Ukrainian tech company that uses the AI algorithm and archival footage. The same thing for the Luke Skywalker and stuff like that. And this all came about because in 2019, there's that quick voice line of Darth Vader in Rise of Skywalker over the top of Snoke at the start. That was James Earl Jones, but while recording that, talking to the sound editor at Lucasfilm, Matthew Wood, who also does the battle droids and General Grievous. Great little fact there. He basically said to James that he had mentioned he was looking into winding down on this particular character, and James Wood was like, hey, dude, Respeecher exists. And James Earl Jones was like, all right, cool, I'm done.
Awesome.
So that's
he probably gets money from that too. If he's licensing his voice out, basically it's like
it's the same
consistent money for no work.
It's the same thing with Mark Hamill, especially it's using his likeness still. It's his voice, but it's his likeness, so he needs to be paid for it. And his name's still on the credits. So, he's still getting billed in credits, which is cool. Makes me think if there was a James Carpenter clip that went out for because Halloween's coming up. Technically the moment. The event. Also the second to last film, but he was talking about the fact that he loves when there's rumors of a film coming out in the Halloween franchise, because once he knows it's real because someone just calls him and through the phone he hands him a check, and then he just sits back in his chair and goes, all right, I'm done for the rest of the year. I don't have to work. Just anytime they're thinking about making a Halloween film, it's like, all right, money, sweet.
Yeah. Done. That's awesome.
So there you go.
Life.
There you go. Everything can be automatic if you either have a great voice or create one of the most prolific horror IPs of all time. It's very easy.
Easy done.
Easy auto money.
Easy auto end card.
Oh. That was the end of the news, everybody. Welcome to the little ad read. We still have none. I mean, the biggest ad read what we can do right now is, of course, remind you that our PAX panel is on Saturday, October 8th at 5 p.m. in the Fruit Bat Theatre. You will not be able to go if you don't already have a pass for Saturday or the 3 days, because Saturday is sold out.
Totally sold out. Of course it is. Yeah. It's always the day that is.
Totally.
But come hang out with us if you have Friday or Sunday free. I assume those are not sold out.
No, I don't think so.
They're usually the quieter days.
Yeah.
Still come hang out with us.
Absolutely.
Come hang out if you have those days free and don't have a ticket yet. We will be there the whole time. I got the day off.
You did.
I don't know why my work allowed it, but they did. So I'm going.
Totally.
I'm taking it.
So make sure you find us. We'll be around. There's also a back pocket panel that's, I think, 5 as well on the Friday. Or maybe it's 5:30. Yeah. So you'll see us around. We'll be around. Is that enough?
Yes.
Ad reading?
Yeah, it's enough.
All right.
We've read an ad.
We've read an ad. That was
for
an ad.
ourselves.
We're the most important.
I was just saying we're the most important and then having
Someone's played us off.
So good. Such a weird transition.
We're not leaving the PAX world, though, with our cues for you use this week. A lot of you turned into Barjo for a second there. We asked for a bunch of questions, and a lot of them were about PAX. So we're just going to read those PAX questions and answer those PAX questions.
Let's answer them.
This first one comes from BMAC, which I think you can really mainline this one. What is there to do in Melbs outside of PAX?
Nothing.
Just leave. Go
Nothing
home.
at all. Yeah. It's basically Adelaide.
Yeah.
Or Perth.
Fuck those places.
Sorry, everyone listening to this.
They know.
In those places.
They
know. They're aware.
Yeah.
I would go to Acme if you get a chance. Especially since the Thor Love and Thunder costumes are there.
Yep.
They're there for a year.
Yes.
But if this is your one chance to be in Melbourne in the next year, then definitely go check those out. It's very cool. Acme is just good fun anyway.
Yep.
Just to go and interact with some stuff.
And free.
Look at some stuff. And free. It's all in the free section.
Yep.
So go check it out. It's very good. If you're into art, there is currently a Picasso exhibition at the NGV, which I went to, which is very good. Although there's 10 to 15 rooms left. I had 5 and they were like, it'll be closing in 10 minutes. So I'm like, just like looking at stuff frantically, pretty much. Just running and taking photos of things. She won't listen to this because she never does. But I bought my book. My book. I bought my book. The Mum. I bought my mum the book. The entire book. It's like huge. It was $80.
You guys do love a guide.
That's right. Of the entire exhibition in one book. She was very jealous. She was an art girl growing up. Loves art. Loves all that sort of stuff. Used to be a bit of an artist as well. So I bought her that.
And now she's a book.
And now she is a book that I have bought for my mum.
Good.
For my book. Whichever. What else is there? There's a bunch of bars.
There are.
The gaming bars will be packed, I'm sure. It's going to be wild. So I don't even know if booking is going to be worth it at this stage. It's probably booked out.
Give it a mum.
Give it a mum. Just give it a mum.
Yeah. Totally. A lot of the things that I would suggest are the nerdy things that you will not be able to get into. I will admit, when I went to GGEZ, I think it was the Sunday night when Megadev was on, I went to GGEZ first and I got in and I was fine. I did drop my burger, but that wasn't to do with the amount of people. I'm just an idiot. So give it a go. It may be fine. I think of the two, Fortress will be hell because Fortress is like sells itself as like be here with your mates, whereas GGEZ is small, so it may ward off a few people. But definitely those two will be tricky.
And the Sunday night as well though might be the good idea because I feel like a lot of people will leave straight like towards the end of PAX on a Sunday.
Yeah.
To get back home to go back to work on Monday.
Totally. So Sunday night's maybe your best bet.
Sunday night's probably your best bet if you're staying for longer than just that weekend.
Yep.
But it depends because like what is there to do in Melbourne outside of PAX? how much longer are you going to be there? Because if you're there for PAX,
you're not doing much
only
else.
going to be at PAX.
I guess the one thing that you can do, which is close to the convention, again, if you're like not planning on being in Melbourne anytime soon, or you have never been to Melbourne, is do the Sky Deck. The
Sky Deck's cool.
That's really fun.
Eureka Tower.
Tower.
So
that's the one.
if you just walk, basically just follow the Yarra River.
Yep.
All the way down the river towards Flinders Street Station. On the same side as the exhibition center.
Yep.
You will see Eureka Tower. It's the thing with the big gold stuff on top.
Yep.
Along there. And yeah, there's a Sky Deck, which is a room that you stand in. It's entirely glass, and it just pushes you out, and then you can see pretty much 360 of the city.
It's cool.
I haven't done it, but you did it.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
It's very fun.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that is a big thing. If you're going to PAX, you will be tired. So you probably will just want a meal and go anywhere in Melbourne and you'll enjoy your food. It's fine.
It's hard
to recommend places.
There's a whole bunch of bars along Yarra River.
Yep.
Along the side of the exhibition center as well. There's like the Boatman's Shed.
God, I can't wait for Munich. That stuff. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's Munich, which is essentially Bavarian beer cafe for people in Sydney and stuff that are aware of that restaurant. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yep.
With giant schnitzels and pretzels and all that sort of thing. It's essentially the same. All that sort of stuff. Across the road from the exhibition center as well is a place called Merrywell's, which is a fave of mine. They do like hot dogs and burgers and stuff like that. They're very, very good.
Yep.
So I recommend that. Also nearby is an arcade. So if you can't get enough of games and you want to pay more money to play more games, then you can go to an arcade in Crown Casino.
Yep.
But I'm sure that's going to be packed as well. Yeah. That will hell. Yes. Next question. Let's keep going on. Marie Kondo, the packing lady herself.
Yeah.
What are you packing for PAX?
Josh?
Will, what are you packing for PAX? I'm already
You're
here.
good. You don't have to.
I'm packing my whole apartment.
I'm just packing I'm hoping to pack just a single backpack because I do not trust planes at the moment. As much as I would love to put something underneath the plane, a bomb.
The Bureau of Meteorology he's referring to. Of course.
All in there. I got
all
really scared for
all of the weather.
My own hand. Because it's chaos. I'm still unsure if I'm going to catch a flight down because flights are being cancelled by the swathe.
Really?
Yeah, it's not very good. People, I know people two separate occasions, but Brisbane and Adelaide, their flights today had been cancelled. So it's I may be driving, so then I can pack a car. But if I am on a plane, I'm packing like 2 good dress shirts. I'm wearing one of them and a t-shirt and my big jacket. And then maybe I'm packing double the amount of undies I'll need because you don't want to go down there. And then some socks. And that's probably it. I need my laptop and a charger. You've got your Switch and stuff. I'll bring some Joy-Cons and the game.
Just some technical stuff.
Yeah, but
for the panel.
Probably the least amount of technical stuff I've brought to Melbourne because it's all there, which is good.
Yes. 100%.
For
the people that are coming to PAX, just clothes.
Yeah, don't bring anything
just
else.
Some clothes, basically nothing else. Like if you need snacks, there's food in there. It's usually overpriced. But there's Woolies and stuff around. You can just go get some snacks from there. 7-Elevens and stuff all over the place. You will be eating out the whole time. You'll be eating food from bars and stuff the entire time. So be prepared for that. You really, really just need clothes.
As Peter said when we went with Channel 7, he was like, because as we all have that moment, I'm like, shit, did I bring that thing? He's like, you're going to another Australian city. Like, if there's literally anything you forget, you can just buy it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, don't stress.
Yeah. And if you run out of clothes, you're in a city of shopping. Yeah. Like, you can just go buy stuff.
It's okay.
You could come with nothing.
Come with an empty
and just
backpack.
buy some clothes. Yeah. Totally.
The way you led that in and if you run out of clothes, it sounded like you were going to say, and you're in Melbourne, you can just have mine.
Sure. Why not? hit me up. I'll bring you some clothes.
They may just be black shirts.
If you do bring clothes, try and maybe save some room for some stuff that you might want to take home.
Yeah.
So pack some space.
Pack space.
Yeah, that's it.
Good.
Just a lot of space for some tiny little pins.
Yeah, tiny little pins.
Because you might get a lot of them.
And on the pins, have a separate bag so that when you get to the airport, you can just take a single bag out to put in the metal detector if you're going carry-on, because they're all metal. They need to see those.
They're all metal. They're all metal.
Cool. That's PAX for packing. I'm going to jump to the bottom one and then we'll do the last one last. Sure. Josh20 asks, what are the questions us first-timers are not asking about PAX that we should be asking about PAX, and what are the answers to those questions? It's a good question. We've only got one more question, so I know what questions you haven't asked because they're not there.
Isn't there two?
True.
There's a BMAC one and a dump text.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
And this almost rolls into one because BMAC has asked, what is some advice you would give to people? So this is kind of advice corner.
Cool. Yeah. Let's do both.
Number one is, if you've never been to PAX, this one is actually probably the least overwhelming of PAXs because there's no Sony, there's no Xbox, there's no Nintendo. It's a lot of the big...
Really? Yeah. I didn't know about that. I know nothing of this PAX.
Yeah. Well, these are questions that you should ask, and now I've answered them.
I should have.
The big dogs are not there, and I think it's because this is the first one back, and if it flops, they haven't wasted money in coming here. It's kind of like, cool, sure. We didn't waste it. So the big ones aren't there, so there's a lot less planning that you'll need to do, because the thing is, enjoy PAX as it comes. There's, of course, panels that you may want to allocate time for, but generally you'll be on the show floor and you'll fall into demos and you'll fall into experiences that are there. Treat it like a holiday where you just... you have like 3 things you want to do and the rest of them just kind of happen. Like, don't overstuff your PAX day. Otherwise, you'll either be disappointed that something didn't happen or you'll just be stressed the whole day. So just like get the bare minimum of like 3 or 4 things you want to get done in a day and then just enjoy the rest of it, I think.
100% on that. So there is a program generally.
Yes. There's an app.
Digital and usually there's a physical one as well. People like to have the book and write notes in it and circle things in the schedule. So there is that. So obviously you'll have your back pocket panel there and your ETTO panel there. Just enjoy it. Yep. Hang out with people, make some friends, meet some friends.
Yes.
Probably focus on the indies. Unless there's something like you really, really want to see, but generally you end up being pretty disappointed and you've wasted like an hour or more in a line.
Yeah.
Stick to indies for sure. Walk around, have a look at the bigger games. There's potentially some stuff that you might be able to just walk over and test out. Yep. If you do have, some issues with crowds and things, there is a thing called the AFK room, which is a very quiet space to just go and chill out.
Yep.
It'll be in a map on the app or in the guide.
Yep.
It's usually up a staircase, which I think starts near the entrance off the street. It's basically just a space where you can go and chill out. I think there's water, there's tissues if you're having a really hard time. Yeah. I think there's psychologists. There's people to just chat to you and ask you questions and stuff, but they will happily leave you alone if you just need some space away from talking to people. Yep. They've got, adult coloring in. Sometimes they got switches and stuff just to play chill little games. So there is that as well for you, which is it's a great little service that I never knew about until my first year at PAX, which that was how I got my 3-day pass.
That's right.
was being part of that group and helping people out, which was awesome. So definitely if that is of any interest to you at all, I think that's a good place to be aware of.
Totally. The other thing is that there's 2 options that you can kind of take. There will be huge lines every day to get into the building. I assume it opens 9 or 10 o'clock.
Probably around then, yeah.
The thing is, and this is with any con, so take this advice to a Supernova or Oz Comic Con, the con is open, this one is open till 6. So either rock up early enough that you're not in a big line from, 7 o'clock till 12, or get there at 12 when the line has shrunk and just get in. There's no rush to be there on time. The only big thing is at the start of the first day, there's always a bit of a crazy hoo-ha of cool things happening, but
fire and stuff inside.
Yes,
it's kind of cool.
It's pretty cool, but it's also something you only see if you have managed to get into that initial chunk and you're already in the building. So there's not too much you'll miss.
Like the first 200 people.
Totally. So again, if you're not great with crowds, don't get there early because you will be stuck in one for a long time. And just in general, if you don't especially if you have a 3-day pass, you can basically enjoy everything without needing to get there and being stuck in a line for 3 hours. Get there at 12, get there at 1, have a nice lunch before you get in, and enjoy the day. Don't be pressed to get there too early. If you're flying in on Thursday and you didn't get a mail-out pass, you can get your passes then as well, which is an important thing to remember.
Yeah, you can get them early.
Yeah. It won't let you in early, but it's one less line to kind of deal with. So
the last time that you and I did one, we did a PAX. I think we got there on the Sunday. We got there at like 9 or 10, and we just went to the boatman shed and had breakfast.
Yeah. Yep.
We just went and had breakfast.
There's so much food around that if you see a line, just go have something to eat.
Yeah, 100%. There's incredible cafes, as everyone is already aware in Melbourne. There's going to be food everywhere. If you do want to get there early, grab some friends.
Yep.
Grab some other people that you're aware of that are going. Yep. Meet them at the convention. Go find somewhere and have some breakfast. Yep. I'm happy to do that if people want to hang out and just get some breakfast before the show starts. Will might be a little bit busier with some back pocket stuff, but I'll be available. I'll be more than happy to come hang out at any point in time.
Absolutely.
Definitely hit me up, hit other people up. And we're going to hit up Dump Days' last question. Dump Days with 3 different types of accents in his name this time, which is awesome. PAX question: which Mario Kart game will you be playing at PAX? Will you use custom cards, I guess, or a standard card?
Yeah. So
I don't know what that means.
I know. So I think that the main thing to maybe it's not well shown in the bio, but the way you've written "you" implies that you're talking about all 4 of the ETTO boys are going to play, and that's it. You need to realize it's not about us. It's about the people in the room that aren't us.
That's right.
You're going to be the ones driving. I mean, we may do a round to kind of show you the ropes.
Do an initial round.
But it's about finding out who in the audience is the best Milky Kart racer. Ooh. So maybe we give them, I mean, there is a countdown when you're customizing karts, but I'm sure we'll give the volunteers a moment to customize their karts, but maybe we should put a bit of a limit so that everyone's on a level playing field at least. But
for sure,
and I think we're doing 8. If 8 is the most recent one, I think that's the one. I
think so. Yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I guess.
Yeah. So that
whatever the latest one is. So yeah,
that'll be the one, and the rest of it you'll have to find out on the day. But for anyone that isn't able to drink dairy, we are going to do our best to have every option available so that no one is going to miss out on the chance of being a Milky Kart racer.
Very good.
But that's all the cues, I guess, from yous, I guess.
We did it, I guess.
Oh!
A bloody guess.
We did it. We did it. Let's not leave Joshy behind. We had a little moment of Joshy in there, but let's just get more Joshy in here and a little bit of Dump Days from
Dump Days.
The Rec Sec.
Recommendation, what am I watching? Recommendation, what am I needing? Recommendation, recommend it to me.
Rec.
A little bit extra.
Amazing. I like the last bit. That's great.
They visuals that the audio listeners won't be able to see from Dump Days. He's drawn us in our little boxes. Very good.
So cute.
Check out.
It's great. I love it.
Check out Dump Days on the Instagrams and Twitters for more art as well. And thank you, Joshy. Good to hear your voice again.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Have you watched anything, Will?
I have watched lots.
Oh, interesting. I've done nothing.
Okay.
So I've watched a couple of things.
Okay. Do we want to go back and forth on watches until we run out?
Yeah, let's do that. You start first.
The first thing I want to talk about is an old thing, which is James May, Our Man in Japan, which is a series on Amazon Prime.
Okay. I thought you were just calling him that.
Our Man in Japan.
Our Man in Japan. Is he?
So the issue is that the new season of this show has dropped the other day, and it's him in Paris, and it's just called Our Man in Paris. So it's like they designed the perfect title for one season, but now he gets to go other places. Very funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Our guy in Paris.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Closest I can get.
We'll contact Amazon Prime and get that fixed immediately.
You got it. Yeah.
But it's a good show. It's a travel show, as you can kind of get from the name. But it is wonderfully fourth wall breaky, like the way that we love to make our content and the way that we love watching content. There's like moments where, like the end of the first episode, he's like, oh, and on this episode, the best bits, and he's showing all these best bits. And then there's a moment that happens that goes on just long enough that you think it. And then he's like, well, that's a bit that wasn't interesting enough, so it's not in it. So there's great. And then at the start of the next episode, they show more of it. And it's like, well, again, that wasn't in last episode. It just wasn't interesting enough. It's like real.
That's so good. Awesome.
There's a piece to camera he does, and it stays on you like, oh, something must be wrong with it. But then the producer comes in and he's like, dude, no one's going to get that joke. And it's like real, because you see James going, what do you mean? And so he tries a couple more to the camera. So it's just like, it's the way the Top Gear, the Grand Tour stuff feels. It just feels like, we know you love this dude. Like, who gives a shit that it's a streaming service thing? We'll just let these things play out. So there's lots of great moments like that. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
nice.
6 episodes. And I think the next one, the Paris one, will be 6 as well. So
is there anything to do with cars? Like, specifically, is he like super into the cars there, or is it just like traveling?
It's
and
just traveling,
culture?
But he'll like he went on like not the bullet train, but they've got like a kind of fancy train, and he went on that, and he's like, and it's like a Lamborghini or this Porsche with, the one with the small funny little doors. There's like little moments of like he just can't help but tell you about cars as well. But
of course. So it'd be like us doing a travel show and not talking about Marvel or something. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's super fun. Cool. And give it a watch.
Nice, very nice. I watched Bright for some reason.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Right. I was just scrolling through and there was some stuff that I was interested in and stuff that I'm like, I really liked that movie watching it the first time. Could watch it again. But then I just kept flicking. I'm like, I remember Bright. That was a weird concept for a movie, so I just chucked it on. And this is just like a super quick spoiler for the very end, so skip forward like spoiler. 30 seconds or whatever. Yeah. Kind of, but it's also funny. So like skip, it's kind of whatever. But my internet cut out and I have not finished watching the film.
No.
As someone said, shoot them, and they shot the bad guy.
Good.
And there is just a gunshot and blood splatter, and it froze on the blood splatter just coming out of the bad,
like a 1980s
the main bad guy.
Cop drama.
And it just stopped, and then the little like 0% loading bar came up.
Damn.
And I didn't go back to it. And that was it. That's as much as I've seen of Bright, is basically
that's maybe
the part where
a better ending.
It's probably enough. I'm aware that they shot the bad guy, so hopefully
that's all you need.
Maybe the bad guy died. Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah. So that was Bright. Watch Bright.
I watched. Let me see if there's a connection. There's no connection here. I watched. Do Revenge. That's the next one I'm going to do. And this was the film that I was watching when the real estate lady knocked. So Do Revenge is the Maya Hawke and other people one of young teenage girls doing revenge. I don't think I'm the demographic for this film. I watched... basically, she came to the door. I sat down, finished my rap, and went, okay, I'm done now.
So you also didn't finish
I didn't finish my movie either.
So good.
But also from Netflix. It is just so generic. It is just so doing nothing new that, like, it's not even fun. It's just, like, painfully unoriginal.
Right.
That it's...
okay.
And, like, I adore Maya Hawke. I'm keen to watch any of the actresses and actors that are in this because they're super charismatic and like fun. But all the words they're saying, I'm like, we've heard words that people have said before, but I'm hearing strings of words that I'm like, I've heard these in other films, and the plot is not bringing me through it. So yeah, I didn't end up finishing watching it. Maybe I will at some point. You can watch the last 5 minutes. I'll watch the last hour. We'll reconvene. But yeah, it's definitely not one, despite being in the rec seg, that I would actually recommend.
That's fair.
Unfortunately.
That's fair. I will say Bright was fine.
I was going to say Bright is a choice.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
It's pretty fun. Have you seen it?
Yeah. Ages. I can't remember any of it, but ages ago, yeah.
Totally, yeah. It's fine. There's enough fun there, but it is... It's kind of weird watching Will Smith again.
Yeah.
It's like watching Baby Driver. I watched Baby Driver like a year or two ago, and it's kind of weird watching that now.
Well, the dude's also bad as well, apparently. It's not just Kevin Spacey anymore. Baby himself, I think I've heard, is not
really
a good man.
No.
So that movie just can... you know what, Warner Brothers, delete that one. I don't think they made it.
Delete that. Bring back Final Space.
Yeah. Swap it.
Yeah. Do it. I watched The Real Bling Ring Hollywood Heist. So this is a documentary miniseries based on, it's the real event that the Emma Watson film The Bling Ring was based on.
Yeah, right.
Have you heard of this film?
No.
Because I hadn't, but you've almost definitely seen the super sexy clip from a film of Emma Stone like licking her lips while she's dancing.
Oh, movie 43. No, yes. No.
Is it?
Emma Stone licking her lips and...
Emma Watson.
I don't think I've ever seen that clip, no.
I'm sure you've seen that clip.
I thought that was from Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Well, I don't think so.
It mustn't be. Like, I have seen that and just assumed the one film that isn't Harry Potter she's in would be that one. Yeah. Wow.
This is a clip that they showed multiple times through this film. But it's essentially, it's like a kind of a true crime in a way of an actual event. So the basic idea is that a bunch of teens, this legitimately happened, a bunch of teens decided, who lived close to Hollywood, lived just on the other side of the valley to Hollywood, decided that they were going to start trying to rob people's houses. Essentially some teens that, they would get pretty, they'd get pretty high or whatever at a party and then like on coke, whatever. And they'd drive down roads and start trying to open people's doors of their cars.
Right.
And they would find open doors. So then they would just jump in the cars, see if they could, find a handbag or some cash or jewelry or something and take those and then keep going down the street. And then that went to I think it was actually someone that the guy in the story ended up, he used to go to school with or something. He followed him on Facebook still, or MySpace, I think at the time. And the guy was a bit of an influencer and mentioned that he was going away to Hawaii for a week or two. So they were like, his house is vacant. No one's going to be there. Let's go see if the door's open. And they went.
Yeah,
he left the door open. So they just went in, and then that just cascaded to famous people's houses. They robbed Paris Hilton. One of the first ones. What's his name? From not Johnny Depp, but the other main guy from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Jeffrey Rush.
Not Orlando Bloom. Orlando Bloom. They robbed Orlando Bloom's house multiple times each sometimes because these people have so much that they took a few bits of jewelry, some cash that they could find, some clothes. Unnoticeable amounts of stuff. So then they'd just go hit it again. So the guy, it's a lot of basically straight up interviews and them talking straight to camera saying, this is how I did it. This is what I did. So he's like, if you want to rob a celebrity's house, this is what you do. And they just have that in the film. But it's a really interesting...
Yeah, cool doco.
Little doco. It's three episodes. Each episode's about 50 minutes. So it's about the length of a film. Yeah,
sick.
It was pretty cool. I like documentaries and crime docos and stuff. And this was just kind of a light one that wasn't about murder.
That's nice.
So it wasn't so dark. It was just some teens back then just being a little bit overconfident and the slippery slope to some pretty intense crimes and things that could have gotten them, 50 years plus in jail in the end for the amount of crimes that they did and the amount that they stole. It's nuts.
Good. All right. And what's that called?
It's called The Real Bling Ring Hollywood Heist.
There you go. All right. The last thing is Andor, and I actually think it's shit. So, whatever.
Oh, no. Was it a whole series drop or?
Three episodes.
3 episodes? Is that it? Is that the whole?
I think there's 9 or 12. Okay. It's one of those two. Sure. But it's getting like crazy rave reviews. I fell asleep in the first episode. Like actually just fell asleep. And then when I watched episode 2, I was like, surely, did I finish it? It turned out that I actually fell asleep when it finished. But I was like, I thought I was drifting off, but I just fell asleep when the credits rolled. It's just, it's the thing I feared with Star Wars, which is Star Wars doing prestige TV, which is like high end, like we're really smart now. And it's just like, no, it just feels like wank. It just feels so like nothing. And
it loses the fun of Star Wars?
Entirely loses the fun of Star Wars. And not just that, it's putting like, I'm fine with the way the show is made. Like I'm fine with it being smarter television, but Star Wars is such a stupid universe that it's like, well, this just feels silly. Like it doesn't feel smart. It feels like a parody. It feels like a sketch where they're like, imagine if Game of Thrones was in Star Wars, it would be like this. And it's just like, there's nothing to hold on to. Everyone is just monotone, boring characters. I'm hoping it picks up in the next episodes, but it's like the other thing I was thinking about is like the Marvel shows. It's like She-Hulk, even if it was shit, which is not, it's the best show. I would be like, well, I've got to watch it because it's building to a universe. If this sucks, I'm just not going to watch it because it doesn't mean anything.
Not going to go anywhere, is it?
I know what happens. He dies.
Yeah, because it's the story leading into Rogue One.
Yeah. So it's like, man, I know what happens to this dude. He's not here anymore. So there's nothing more I need from the show. So, and there may be an element of that. It may be one of the first prequel things where I'm like, I just don't have any. It wants me to be invested because they're going to give me new information about him. But it's like, I got everything I needed from Rogue One. I wasn't invested in him over there. It's hard for me to care about him here. But we'll see. It may pick up in the next episode.
Yeah, cool. Fingers crossed. I hope so. Have you played anything?
One thing, Metal Hellslinger, which is the kind of rhythm Doom game.
Yes.
It's really hard to play with like that millisecond delay that comes with Elgato game capture. So I'm going to put it on a telly and play it because it's like, it's just, I'm missing every single thing. And I feel like I'm dumb, but I'm like, I play guitar. I can hit beats. This can't be me. So, but it's really fun. If you do want to play it, it's on Game Pass. It's basically Doom, but beat per minute kind of rhythm game, which is really cool.
Interesting.
So if you hit the beats on your attack, it boosts your score. The longer you go, there's a bit of music playing. The longer your combos go up, the more music comes in. At combo 16, the vocals come in. And
sick. That's cool. Is it like an actual song or is it like choral?
There's a band. There's a few different bands, like actual heavy metal bands that have written songs for the game. So they're legit songs, which is fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's hectic.
Check that out.
Love it. Cool. I haven't really played much despite having a long weekend. I was just out doing stuff. So I basically just more Riders Republic when I have time because it's an easy game to just jump in and out of for half an hour at a time or whatever. And I'm getting closer and closer to dropping some money on the BMX DLC that they've released. In it, my best mate in America, Sam Tabor, he recently released a video of him playing it with the DLC.
He did.
Yeah.
Of course,
it's one of the games that he goes back to all the time.
Yeah, good.
Actually, update on that on my best friendship with him.
Yes,
I may have made contact. Yeah. So he did one of the things where it's like, tell me something or whatever, and you can just on Instagram and you can just type in whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe a year ago or so, he played the demo of You Suck at Parking. And I think through you, I was aware that it came out last week.
Yep.
So I posted and said, just so you know, You Suck at Parking for release was last week. or this week, I think, at the time that I mentioned it.
Yeah.
So, you should go back and check out the full release.
Mm-hmm.
Today's video, You Suck at Parking.
That's pretty good.
I might have done it.
Good.
I might have got him to play it. So, yeah, best friendship continues.
It's real.
Thank you, Sam. Love you too.
He'll watch this. He'll get
that's
to
right.
hour 24 of this podcast and be really happy.
100%. Yeah, other than that, do you have anything else
No, that's all for me.
in that? Cool. Basically, I'm up to chapter 5 of 10 of Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. I got 5 days left. I can
Yep.
do it.
You can
I
do it.
believe in me.
You're not
Yeah,
busy.
but that's right. But, this weekend, going to the farm with my family. So even if I don't finish it in the month, hopefully I will finish it, I've got a flight. I've got a bit of a drive out to the farm.
Yeah.
It's apparently forecast to rain the entire time.
Well, that's very youth camp. So
That's right. That's
Yeah.
very true. So I may just have time to chill out and read a book and stuff. So I'll be taking that book, hopefully polishing it off while I'm there.
not in front of your parents.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna polish anything in front of my parents.
No.
And I may take, just out of pure pride that I believe that I will finish those other books, I may take my next monthly book, which I don't know
Nice.
what that is yet.
Yeah.
But I'll let you know next podcast,
Fortnite.
I guess.
Yeah.
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 So
Good.
yeah, so that's it.
Sick. Well, Joshy, take us away.
Bring it back.
Oh, it's just us. That's okay.
That's fine.
The podcast has gone too long. We don't
It
need
has.
the beautiful melody of Joshy.
Yeah.
Joshy
We have a
also-
stream to do.
We have a stream to do. I'll just quickly say, Joshy found a new frame rate of video, which is why we were listening to it a little stuttery. He sent the video at 30.33 frames per second.
Wow.
So OBS was just like, I don't know what to do with that, man. So
Amazing.
congrats, Joshy. Maybe talk to Bill Gates or someone about that, because it's I don't know how you exported a video.
Incredible
That
new
specific
discovery.
frame. It's impressive.
Yeah, very
but,
good.
as Josh said, we've got a stream to go to. If you want to see more of us this week, well, you're already listening to the podcast that came out on Tuesday. If you want to see more of my face, you can head to twitch.tv/etonline on Wednesday night. That Figures is back. Thursday, the Comic Cast is back, which has all our faces in it. And then Saturday morning, I think I'm now streaming at 5:30 a.m. the Hasbro Pulse Marvel Legends reveal. I wasn't going to, but Milk
Amazing.
Please gave us a document in the Discord that's quite a lot. And if any of that comes across in this stream, it's very exciting. Marvel Legends related. And then
so it's
Sunday,
all like leaks or
big old
rumors?
leaks. Big old leaks.
Interesting.
Leaks with confirmation as well, which, real exciting. I don't think we're going to be able to talk about them on Wednesday, but if you want to see them, maybe head to the Discord. And then on Sunday at 5:30 a.m., back awake with the Star Wars reveals and the Indiana Jones reveals. They're doing Indiana Jones figures. I'm fucked. I'm fucked. Very exciting week.
Like you don't pay rent anymore.
Yeah, it's very frightening. It's going to be a painful weekend. So if you want to see all of that, stick around on all the channels, youtube.com/each to their own, twitch.tv/etonline. And if you were listening to this podcast, you want to see our faces, maybe it'll just be there at some point. But for now, youtube.com/each to their own is to see the faces.
Yeah, see our faces over there. That's it. It sounded like I was going somewhere else, but I wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't it.
So we're going to Twitch.
We're going to Twitch and we're going to PAX. Don't forget, see us at PAX next Saturday.
PAX.
Very exciting. Until the next time, I have been Will.
I have been Josh.
Good night, everybody.
Good
We're
night.
going to say that again in 3 hours.
Yeah, good night, everybody.